this race.
Monster run off turn 2.
Can't get it to the high side. Here he comes. There he goes. Oh, no, Kansas saves, and here they come to the line.
I'm a fortune teller who sees the future, and I see it now.
I'm expecting something with Ferrari this weekend, and he ended up at Hendrick somehow.
Oh, God. No, please. Oh, God. I don't like that thought.
Driving to 5.
I can see the goosebumps that just hit Jacob just now.
Carson.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Coming to the Line. Once again, I'm Jacob Barker, joined by Mason Wood and Chris Shoemaker. Guys, it's been a while since we've all been together. I think the good Lord's had it out for us, but you know what? We're all here. We're going to have a good episode today. Let's get started. How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing all right. I don't know about a hurricane coming in the area.
That'll keep you on your toes for sure.
Exactly. Yeah, by the time this first part goes up, it'll probably be right over you.
It might not hit us, which would be nice.
Well, only one way to find out. When you know Jim Cantori's in Florida, you know it's about to get real.
That's true. How are you, Mason? How is it over there being in hell?
It's nice and hot out here lately. We've normally we have monsoon season right now, so normally we get rain, but it's been very quiet, and unfortunately, it's almost the end of summer. So our monsoon season is pretty much dead, and we are dry and hot. But it's normal Arizona summer. I'm just excited we got all three of us together in here, but it's gonna be a good show.
Yeah, it's the first time in a month. Jacob, disappeared into a silhouette.
So part of it was my fault, part of it not my fault. But you know what? That's a discussion for another time. If you can't hear the thunder outside my window, it's Mother Nature coming after me once again. So without further ado, let's get into our F1 segment for today. To start off, coming off the summer break, yesterday was the Dutch Grand Prix. Could you guys have told me that Verstappen was going to win again?
It didn't make it easy for him, I'll say that much.
That's true. So yesterday, Dutch Grand Prix, Max Verstappen with another win, but it was the most exciting race for this season so far.
That was the weirdest race this season. I'm here to tell you. It reminded me of the IndyCar race. I don't know if y'all watched it last year, but I think it was the Indy GP, and nobody knew what the weather was going to do. And that race is one of the weirdest races I've seen. This race is one of the quirkiest races I've seen in probably about 20 years. You guys are probably too young to remember it, but did you all ever hear or watch the 2003 Brazilian Grand Prix?
No.
That one was weird. Fisichella ended up winning in a Jordan. Kimi Räikkönen finished second. And all of the top teams, all the top cars crashed out because of the rain. It was one of the weirdest races I've seen.
Well, I'll definitely say it was. I don't know if it was expected, but it was probably gonna. Max may have won, but it was probably definitely going to be the most exciting race of the year. Once the year's over, we'll look back on this race. And looking at it, there was a Reddit post that came out that uses a bunch of data and stats to kind of prove this. But the Dutch Grand Prix broke China 2016's record for the most overtakes in a single race with 186. The previous best being 161. 59 of them were shown on TV, and 63 of them were on lap 3, which is the most overtakes on a single lap ever. So as much as Max may have won, I think that as an F1 fan, this is about as much as you can ask for, right? I mean, this was the most competitive race we've seen. So, I mean, you got to take what you get. You know what I mean? Take what you get.
Those
this
are
point.
almost IndyCar numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was so weird watching it. And like we said earlier, it was a really weird race, but it was also a good race at the same time because they did the right thing with calling the red flag with I don't know how many laps to go. It was like 7, 8, something like that. Even with Guan Yu, even with Guan Yu stuffing it into the barriers, they made the right call to red flag the race. Do I think it should have used a standing start procedure? Yes, because it would have made it way more exciting.
I don't think so. I think they handled it correctly.
Oh, it would have been great. It would have been great. But you know what? It's all good. So that is Verstappen's ninth win in a row, tying Sebastian Vettel pretty much 10 years to the
and Ascari too.
Yeah, I don't know. Almost 10 years to the day of when Sebastian Vettel got his 9th win in a row on the season for Red Bull. So if I can find, actually, we don't even need to look up the Drivers' World Championships because we know that Max is leading the points. But just for context purposes, we are going to find it for you anyway. So here are the Constructors' Championships. To give you a perspective how much Red Bull is just crapping on everybody, Red Bull is at 540 points for the season. Mercedes, who is in second place, is 255. They don't even have half of the points that Red Bull has.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So the driver standings after the Dutch Grand Prix: Verstappen 339, Perez 201, Alonso 168, Hamilton 156, Sainz 102, Leclerc 99, Russell 99, Norris 75, Stroll 47, and Pierre Gasly at 37.
You know, I've said it before. I'll say it again. If you just take Red Bull out of the equation, this Fernando Alonso Lewis Hamilton battle for the championship with Red Bull out of it. Oh, so entertaining if you just look at it that way. Like what, 6 points within each other?
Let's see.
All over again.
Yeah, 8 points.
Yeah, just pay attention to that battle. Pretend that's the championship. Take Red Bull out of the equation. Your life will be great. You'll enjoy the race so much more if you do it that way.
Well, I mean,
Red Bull's just not even there, okay?
No, it's
Red Bull's in a league of their own.
Yeah, it's quite unfortunate as to how good Red Bull is. Like I said, as much as I like Red Bull and I like Max, it's just ridiculous at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is actually, in terms of domination, I think this is worse than Mercedes at Hamilton's height.
Because we don't know how long it's going to last because we're just entering this new era of the next car.
I don't think it'll last as long.
Well, you think this ends next year?
No, not next year, but I don't think it'll last as long.
Maybe with Ford coming in 2026, it'll slow down because it's Ford.
No.
But you never know.
They'll have Adrian Newey, though, at the same time.
Right.
As long as Max and Red Bull are together, it's going to be a problem. That's my opinion.
I still don't know if he'll retire early, too. He keeps saying that.
No, you know what? Dude's just going to get bored at some point. Like,
exactly.
Jesus. Like, how is he not bored at this point? He just goes out and runs practice laps all day and then just gets a trophy for it. Like, I'm sure the man's going to get bored, right? Like, he's going to want to be like, I need somebody to fight me, damn it. Like, maybe he just does like a baller move and he just goes to like a crappy team and he's like, watch this. And no, I'm just kidding. That would never happen. But Jesus, man, maybe he gets bored. I don't know. Feels like at some point he's got to.
And then later he goes on to iRacing and craps on everyone over there.
There's a story about that, actually. It was Kimi Räikkönen. I have no idea if this is true or not, but it was when he won the Australian Grand Prix with Lotus one year, and they asked him, "So, do you ever get bored when you were leading by a country mile at Australia?" And he said, "Yeah." And he said, "I actually started playing with buttons on the steering wheel." And the team got annoyed at him. I have no idea if that was true, but I've heard that story before.
That's funny.
That's a key.
That's funny. So, Max with his 9th win in a row. What is that, like his 12th win overall, I think?
I think so.
Okay. But
he's won all but one race this year.
One or two, I think. Either way, they've all been won by Red Bull. Probably the big story from this weekend is Daniel Ricciardo breaking his hand in practice.
Yeah, I wonder if that actually hurts his chances for maybe making a comeback next year.
Honestly, I think it will.
Yeah, because he doesn't get as much seat time.
Mm-hmm.
And does he even make a comeback next year?
I don't think so.
I'd love to see him at NASCAR, get Project 91 going.
I think that'd
and
be
watch
good.
him pull an SVG.
That'd be awesome. That would be so cool. Go to Coda. That would be perfect for Ricciardo. Go to Coda, his favorite track, with Project 91.
You know,
if SVG is not in the 91 car next year.
I don't think he will be in a 91 car. I think they'll have another number for him. But that aside, I wouldn't be upset if he ended up racing the 3 some way, somehow. I really wouldn't be. I think old Dale would even give him a lot of respect there.
Give him more respect than Austin Dillon, that's for sure.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I got some really hot takes that you're going to love later on in
Can't
our
wait.
NASCAR segment.
I don't want to get into Austin Dillon. Okay, I've been really good the last few weeks about not freaking out about him. He missed the playoffs, which is beautiful.
I was half expecting him to win. I think he would have been my pick.
Oh God, if he had won Saturday, I really should have
put that. I really should have put that bet on him in case he did, because I said I was going to do that. I'd bet on him in case he did win, so I at least don't feel too bad. But I ended up picking. I bet on Eric Jones this weekend, and he had me there for a second, but he was at least in the fight.
Well, it didn't turn out so well for him. I picked William Byron to go back to back.
Well, I like those lotto picks, and Eric Jones was like a lot of money. But anyways, yeah, Chris is right. Anyways.
Yeah, but this race in Holland, that was very interesting, and it kind of begs a few questions about wet weather racing. Is there any point keeping the extreme wet tires? Because every time it gets really wet out there, they just throw a red flag. And although I do agree with throwing the red flag this past race, just because guys were aquaplaning.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it just seems pointless to have extreme wets out there, and not having them just saves teams money.
Yeah, no, this is fair. I mean, if they're just, it's I mean, it's kind of the same argument that we've seen with NASCAR. I would say with with their wet tires, and like, are they really necessary? Like, we hardly use them, like, so you can definitely say that they're not necessary. And I don't know what the question would be, how much it would change, like how much time do they really lose not having them?
And Christian Horner brought this up as either earlier this year or last year. They asked him about this, and he said, there's really no point in us having the extreme wets because they don't have any performance in them. The intermediates have performance, where the wets don't. There's no reason to really make that change until you absolutely have to.
Mm-hmm.
Where you do kind of want to make that change in the intermediates.
Well, there's people will get paid a lot more money than we do to make those decisions.
And yet we make better ones than Ferrari does.
Exactly.
Ferrari screwed them up
tires on the pit stop. God.
Now, was that Ferrari's fault, or could that have been the driver's fault?
Let's just say it was Ferrari's fault because it's funnier.
Yeah,
I think it was Ferrari's fault though.
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, the reason I say it could be the driver is because driver could have made a last-second call to come in. But yeah, I kind of tend to agree that it is probably Ferrari doing it. And they say the Ferrari team boss, he might be in the hot seat. Excuse me. He might be in the hot seat already.
Oh, 100%.
Aside from the fact that he's in the hot seat just because he's in Ferrari.
Yeah.
And there's even rumors that Carlos Sainz, he might be in a hot seat, or he might even be leaving, might be getting disgusted with him. If he does leave, where does he go? Rally with his daddy?
I got no idea. No clue.
I think he does go race with his dad.
Well, there's only one way to find out. So I've been thinking about this question for a couple weeks. Been meaning to talk about it on the show for a while. And we've kind of discussed about this, but not as a whole. If there is one current F1 driver on the grid to make the move to IndyCar, who would it be?
Can we use it current? Ricardo is the first name that comes to my mind. Realistically, I don't think he does, but I don't think
he will either.
I think he would be the most logical person to move.
Mm-hmm.
My next pick would be Sargent.
Yeah.
Hey, that was my pick. Pick.
I was thinking Logan Sargent as well.
Why you gotta do that, man? You know what, then? Fine, man. Like, why you gotta be like that? I actually thought it was gonna be him. Now, if I had to pick somebody else, shoot, I don't know, man. Maybe,
Max.
No, not Max. Maybe. I don't know, man. Kevin, maybe. I don't know.
Kevin Magnussen.
Kevin Magnussen.
Yeah, maybe
one IndyCar race. And he did pretty good there too.
I feel like Kevin could be a possibility. I feel like he would make sense, but yeah, other than that,
him and Hulkenberg signed a contract for next year. Actually, recently, like this past week.
Well, I'm glad they got Hulkenberg back.
Dude's overrated. He's like that one kid that in high school that keeps flunking out, but for some reason that they keep giving him another chance.
I thought he had some brief flashes this year, but he also had some like luck that wasn't also on his side either. I think his best run this year was Canada, and then he got screwed over by something that had nothing to do with him, if I remember correctly. So some pit mistake or something.
Yeah, it was
Either
something
way,
like that. But at the same time, that's kind of been his career, and he's choked a few times throughout his career too.
Yeah.
no, 100%. Speaking of the young drivers, by the way, how about Ricardo's replacement, Liam Lawson, 13th in his debut? Not bad.
Not
He's
bad at
another
all.
one I would have thought would go into IndyCar, but I didn't think he really counted.
I didn't want to count him. No, I considered him, but he's still fresh, and I feel like he obviously he's gonna want to try and make his name in the F1 side of things first before he kind of moves over to that side, especially because he's a New Zealander, so who knows, he may want to stay over on that. Who knows? I think though, 13th place for him yesterday in his first start, that's pretty solid.
Oh yeah, the fact that he didn't finish last is a success for him. And
Yeah.
I know that sounds like a
And
joke, but no, it's not, because that was his first race ever, and
he finished ahead of you,
knowing that he was going to be in the car on Friday.
right? Finished ahead of Yuki as well, so he was the top performing AlphaTauri this weekend. I mean, not much more you can ask for out of a guy just getting into the car on a whim this weekend.
That makes Yuki look really bad.
Oh yeah.
No, it does. It does not make Yuki look any better.
Where does he go if he's
there.
in the hot seat? Sports
IndyCar?
car?
IndyCar.
Oh,
I mean,
can
maybe.
imagine him being angry in IndyCar.
Oh, that'd be awful.
Did you see? Well, I'll save that for the IndyCar segment. But anyways, yeah, I can just see Yuki Tsunoda just being angry and on the ovals racing around in IndyCar. He could be like Japanese Dale Earnhardt.
Oh no.
I can dig it.
I don't know about that. We'll see though.
Christopher Shoemaker challenge, where he has to go one episode without comparing somebody to Dale Earnhardt.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm the only one here that has seen Dale Earnhardt live on TV.
I'll give you that. That's
technically
fair.
I was alive while he was still racing.
Did you ever see him on live TV though? That you can
Probably,
remember?
but do I remember it? No.
Exactly.
I barely missed out. There's two greats I barely missed out on in the world. That's Dale Earnhardt and Michael Jordan. I didn't really get to watch either.
Michael Schumacher.
Michael Schumacher.
Well, I didn't get to see Schumacher either.
Anyway, getting back on target. This coming weekend is the Italian Grand Prix, Monza. Who are we thinking for podiums?
See, I had a dream last night that they were racing Monza, specifically Monza. I was attending the race. I was a marshal. I was a terrible marshal. And we were sitting on the back stretch right before the Parabolica. Right after the Ascari chicane and right before the Parabolica. You guys know where that is, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. And anyways, I was a flag waver. Going on, aside from that, I had a dream that Fernando Alonso won. So I'm going to go with that dream.
Fernando
I'm going with
Alonso.
Alonso first.
That's a bold pick.
And then I have Verstappen third. I don't know who I should put for second. I don't think it'll be Perez. But I don't really like Mercedes either. Maybe
Charles Leclerc.
Yeah, since it is in Italy, maybe that'll give Ferrari a couple tenths. or it could cause them to lose a whole second. We don't know.
Exactly.
It's like, I don't know. They're just gonna Ferrari it up again. It's not gonna be much different.
As usual.
Don't get yourself too excited now.
Those poor
right.
Ferrari fans, the poor Tifosi.
All right, Mason, who are you thinking?
It's gonna be hard for me to pick Max out not being up there. So I mean, Max is number one. I think is kind of easy money for that. Give me for number two, give me Fernando. I'll do Fernando at number two, and then give me Carlos at number three.
Carlos Sainz. Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
That's correct.
You went full Owen Wilson.
Wow.
Man,
All right, Jacob, what are yours?
I don't want to pick Max. That's kind of dumb.
That's a boring pick.
But here's the thing. The Monza curse has been really going the last couple of years. To go into context with the Monza curse, the previous winner from Monza, such as Max from last year and Ricciardo in 2021, they've DNF'd in the next race or the next Monza race.
No disrespect to Max, but I kind of hope that happens. Mechanical. I don't want him to crash out and get any sort of nasty wreck.
So the Monza curse is, I think it's going to happen. So I'm going to go bold. I'm going to go Lewis Hamilton with the dub.
Oh.
I'm going to go Perez second, and then Alonso third.
You know something? If I knew that Daniel Ricciardo was going to race next week, which I kind of doubt he will.
He isn't.
Okay. He would have been maybe my number two. Going really bold.
Maybe.
But I'm not going to put Liam Lawson up there just for obvious reasons. No disrespect to Liam Lawson at all.
Oh, definitely not.
But another thing that I noticed that I've been hearing about the last few weeks, that Sergio Perez might be in the hot seat. Yeah, he just signed a contract, but Helmut Marko is reportedly getting frustrated. Who replaces
that?
Who replaces Perez? I have no idea, and I don't think it'd be Daniel Ricciardo.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think it'd be Yuki either.
No, definitely not, because Yuki's he's been awful recently. I don't know.
I don't know anybody. I don't know who's in the Red Bull Academy. You know what? Let's look. I have the interwebs right here.
Yeah, I really don't know. Excuse me. Who would even replace Perez?
Jack Crawford. He's a young American, and he's not ready yet.
No.
Enzo Fittipaldi, I think, would be one. Well, maybe not. Maybe not the Red Bull team. Yeah, I don't know. But on the bright side, Jack Crawford, young American, I believe he's from Houston, Texas. He's looking likely to be the next American driver, assuming that the FIA and F1, they allow an American driver that could be potentially competitive to get on the grid, because we know how they are. I'm openly salty about that.
Oh yeah.
Stefano Domenicali does not like Americans. That's spicy, but I'm just gonna say it. he doesn't like American drivers and he doesn't want American teams. Competitive. And if you didn't know, Stefano Domenicali is the CEO of Formula One.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why Andretti's been getting so much flack. That's why I think that's part of the reason why Colton Herta got so much flack too. Although I kind of tended to agree with the FIA decision on Colton Herta, but at the same time, he had more roadblocks than he should have.
Oh yeah.
And how they keep snubbing IndyCar.
Yeah, that's the thing that kind of makes me mad is that F1 they kind of just keep downplaying IndyCar a little bit.
They just don't like anything American except for American money.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, too, if you ask me, IndyCar, take out the Indy 500. Just take out that prestigious race. I think it's still more advanced than, more prestigious than F2. So therefore, I think it should have more points awarded. Of course, the FIA is going to want to preserve their own development, which is understandable. But the IndyCar should have more points awarded in their super license.
Yeah, that's as you said. That's why as a Colton Herta didn't get his super license earlier. Was it last year or this year?
I think it was last year. Yeah, it was last year. It wasn't this year.
Yeah. So we've been on this tangent before a lot.
And I'm still very angry about it.
Yeah, it's not a good situation overall. But either way, F1 likes American money, doesn't like Americans.
Yeah.
I think that's enough said for about that. Either way, this coming weekend, Italian Grand Prix on ESPN. God only knows what time because I'll probably still be in bed by then.
Sometime in the morning.
I
think it's probably going to start at 9 o'clock. That's when it usually starts.
Either way.
8, 9 o'clock.
Yeah, somewhere around there.